You remember the last episode, I was in discussions about this new axle. And I don't even think I told you that I was going to do this. She asked, good sales lady, and I thought, no, these are okay. I mean, they're 60-something years old, but so am I. Whatever. What are you trying to say, lady? And I said, well, hey, just for grins, what's one of these cost? She said, $35. $35? I'll take those. I mean, how are you going to turn down $35 for brand new springs? I thought, surely there's way more steel in that. I mean, these are heavy. I mean, they're for a 3,500-pound axle. But I don't know. I just guess I am out of touch with what spring prices are. And they had them on the shelf. Okay. Pretty boy. Come here. Stopped and got some high-temp automotive grease. Hey, come here. What are you doing, boy? Come on. You want to be on the video today? There we go. You remember what the last one, not the last curly, but the last axle and everything looked like. We tore it apart. You may have to go back an episode or two and just kind of take a look, but there's the back side. And there's the front side where the castle nut goes on and tightens everything up. Brand spanking new. No grease on it yet. That's why I'm wearing my work clothes. So I wouldn't dare do that if I was out here working. Again, same thing. You just saw that one. What am I doing? Then there's a bag of the seals. You want me to open those up? I'll open it up. I mean, I haven't really looked at it yet, so why not? Hey, we're just spending time together here. We're just talking. That's all. We're just talking. Okay. So you remember I had trouble finding the seals. Of course, this comes with seals, with the good rubber on the inside there. And there's two different sizes. This is a back bearing. It's a little bit bigger. As you can see, it has not yet had the grease put in. That's why I stopped and got the grease. And then there'll be the smaller bearing that goes in the front. Okay, what is... Oh, little deal that this is the cap that goes on. And it's got a little rubber baby buggy bumper on it, and then 5 lug nuts. Is it 5? Yeah, it's 5 because no, there's 10. Okay. Then here are the bolts. You see it's got that little bit of I would call it knurling, but I'm sure there's a name for it. And when you pound that in, that really makes it stick right there. Then, of course, it's got some nuts on it. These are our new U-bolts. Oh, duh. Right there. And that's what's going to hold us where we need to be. And in here is washer, well, lock washer, and then the bolts to go on here. And then, of course, pardon my backside, if you will, they did grease the axle. It's not really a castle nut anymore. It's, I guess it's supposed to be better than a castle nut, but I don't know. I remember when we did it last couple of times, they just didn't do the castle nut anymore. So we've got that greased up and our two parts right there, what used to be the castle nut and our pin, cotter pins. Same on this side, same thing. And I measured, and so they welded these on for me, which is a good idea to have a professional weld those. And then there's that hole that's gonna keep us on that spring. So, pardon my backside again. So that's where we're at on this project. If you were curious, this is a Thursday. I go to work tomorrow. Then I have a long weekend. So my intention is to come out here. What will be my Saturday will be in about 5 seconds for you. And take off the springs, clean everything up, install the springs, install the axle. I don't know that I'll bore you with adding grease, because you've seen me do that, pack bearings. But I'll get things as, keep it as interesting as I can for you. And I'll take you through the parts and pieces so that you can kind of see it. And if we have to fast forward, we'll fast forward. But, all right, just 2 seconds. Here's what we're going to start out with. You need to take this off, a little castle nut on there, and you take that off. So, it's got this cotter pin in here, which holds that castle nut in place. It's been on here many years, I'm quite sure. And it is not acting like it wants to come off. What's it looking like over here? This one might be a little bit easier just because of the position of it. I think maybe I can get the hammer on there. I think that's gonna, I can. I don't think that moved it at all. Ah, get off of there. These are an old pair of needle nose, so not too worried about ruining them. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get a little chisel or something. Instead of watching me struggle, hold tight. So what I did is I got a punch and I just cut it, ran it through, then I got a pointy little punch, got it the rest of the way, then it just popped right out. Here's that castle nut. Now, I had to use a wrench on this side because that knurling or whatever it's called that I showed you earlier on these from the other one was not holding. On this side, it's holding and it's doing its job, so that's good. So I loosened this one a little bit, just for the purposes of a reasonable video. Now we should be able to, there it goes. That one will be much harder because it had the knurling on it. This one should fly right out. I'll get my feet out of the way. That little punch I was using earlier. That knurling right there is just plumb more out. Okay. But look, I mean, it's nothing wrong with it on here. Could have reused those, but for a couple of bucks, we're not going to. Ta-da! All right, I'm going to do the other side. You don't need to watch that because it's going to look just like this side, except it'll have a different background. All right, here's these new dogs. Let's see what we can do here. Remember, that's that knurling we've been talking about. It's going to hold it in there. So we want to put that in from this side because that's how it was the last time. Woo! I think we might have to use the hammer to get this up a little bit. It's all right though. Well, we're getting close. It's always going to be an adjustment. Well, you know, let's look at this side and see. Oh, that's just, it's got to be right exactly on. Let's see if this side doesn't make it a little easier. I think it does. At least get it started. There we go. Except I wanted to put some grease on it, daggone it. All right. I'm just going to take just a little grease, put it on the inside there. Probably not necessary, but somebody showed me to do that a long time ago, and I've just kind of always done it ever since. Now we're back on there, and that should stabilize it for this other side. And I'm going to pre-grease here a little bit. You know, sometimes somebody older than you tells you to do something. It might be because they have some experience. That's what I'm going with. All right. Don't tell me that went perfectly first time. Look at that. Woo! Okay. I'm going to tap these in here. Well, that one's a lot stiffer than that other side. There we go. So, this one does not have a place for a cotter pin on it, as the others did. Oh, I see what they did. They crimped that inside. So once it goes on, it's going to be harder to come off. All right, at least that's what I surmised. We'll see here in a second. Kind of romp this down. Now, there's no weight on this trailer right now, so I've got to be careful not to lift it up off the jacks and drop it on my foot, which would be pretty hilarious. But I am not in the mood for that today. Okay, that one's on there. This other one, as I said, wasn't as tight on the knurling, so I'm going to have to use a wrench on the back side just to hold it into place and get it romped in there good. And even though by the end of this video we will have installed, is that too small? Is that just me? We'll get the hole. I gotta get the next size smaller. All right. Which is odd because the nut is the same size as the last one, which is the same size on both, but that's all right. Got a 13/16 here. Yeah, that's what it is. The other side is 7/8, which is what both sides were. But what I was saying, I guess, a little bit earlier, when, a little red in the face, bent over there like that. When I'm going to go put the other one on, then off camera, I am going to grease the wheel bearings. You don't need to see that. There's 5 other videos just like that. But when I go to install everything, I'll come back. But what I want to tell you is, after I install the axle, then I'll set it down, jump on it a little bit, and then I'll come, well, you can't see me doing this. I'll go back and make sure they're still tight, and then especially once I start putting some weight on it, I'll intermittently go back and forth, just crank them down. They're as tight probably as they're gonna get. Just makes me feel better about that when you're replacing things as important as axles and springs. So we get the floor put on, We'll give it a quick little check, and then we put the weight of the walls on. Quick little check. I need to be out here farther so you can see my hand motions. All right, let me get the other side done, pack the bearings, and then I'll be back. All right, I just slipped that in there. Main thing to remember is there's little bumps right there. There's a hole in here. Make sure those are on there and everything looks right. These are our U-bolts, and this is shaped to go over the axle. So one will have to go on this side, one will have to go on the other side. And that's our plate. Now it has the hole in it too. So we're going to, did it again. Set this on here. It's a little, there it goes, okay. We gotta make sure we're on that hole on the bottom. And we are. These come with a lock washer and a nut. I'm gonna just put a set on here just so I don't have to physically hold it up while I set this other, well, so I say, set this other U-bolt in here. There, it went right on there. So, another set of lock washer first, and the nut on the U-bolt. What is happening here? Sometimes these new ones get a little burr on them or something, and they don't want to climb on there real well, but here we go. That's going much, much better. Try and hand tighten them as much as I can before I romp them down. And that'll help me on this other side. It's a little more awkward. And you want these straight up and down. Okay. And that will happen more with when I tighten. Oh, I see what's going on this side. It's the U-bolt is the issue. Okay. Now I just got to start tightening these down. Maybe Russ will give you a little double time on this action right here. All right. So what I did, I didn't tighten one down all the way, then another one down all the way. What I did is I tightened them each incrementally. And right now, they're about 9/10 of the way in. So all I'm going to do, remember, that's got to be in there. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them that last half a turn, and that'll be my last increment on it. Then I'll go and do the other side. There we are.